Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Alicia. I'm a craft producer here with Maker's Gonna Learn. And today we're gonna be showing you all our most requested different types of adhesive vinyl that you all are asking us to use and try out so that you can know which vinyls are gonna work perfectly for you. Now, obviously we have our favorite vinyls and I will go through those once we're going through all of these, but we're gonna do some cut tests, some transfer tests, and we're even gonna do a dishwasher test for you all. So make sure to click the like button, click the subscribe button if you love what you see today, and we will see you all in the video. So as you can see here, we have gathered all of these different types of vinyl. You may recognize some of them off the top of your hat. If you are involved in cricketing, you probably recognize the HTV Ront packaging. So we've got some HTV Ront adhesive vinyl here. We've got some Dollar Tree. We have a couple new brands, and we even have the Cricut brand adhesive vinyl. So what I want to do first is basically, I'm going to start by picking a decently detailed image, and we're going to cut the same image out of each one of these. I really want to see how they weed and how they cut and all of that, and I will tell you which brand we're using as we go. So before we get started, I'm just going to list all of the different vinyls we're actually going to be testing today. That way, if you've had your eye on one, you're going to know that we have it in this video, and you'll be able to see us completely review the vinyl from start to finish. So the first one we've got is Vinyl Frog. This is on Amazon. I'm not sure if they sell it anywhere else, but people have been requesting this, so we thought we would include it. We've got the Cricut brand permanent adhesive. This is the Dollar Tree vinyl paper, very, very highly requested. This is Expressions vinyl. I have never used this type of vinyl. It feels really good quality, but we are gonna let you all know today. And I'll obviously have these linked below if any of them do work really well. That way you can purchase them later if you're curious on how they work for you. I have the Starcraft. This is one of our favorites around here, but we're gonna be testing it so you all can see it compared to the other ones. We've got the Orac 651. We have Techwrap, Styletech Craft, Avery Dennison, and HTV Ront. So let's go ahead and hop into Design Space. So this is the Maker's Gonna Learn website. If you are brand new to our YouTube channel, we are a subscription-based craft community. And so whenever you become a member, you get access to all the stuff on our website. And so I wanna pull off a cut file that you all can use to test out your vinyls. That way you're gonna know if it cuts really well, especially if we're doing intricate cuts. You're gonna wanna have a good image that isn't too basic, but also not too crazy. That way you can give the vinyl a fair chance. So if you become a member, all you have to do is log in and you're gonna get access to all the stuff you see here. So I'm just gonna click on our new cut files. We release cut files every month as well as fonts, and you can see there is a wide array of images to choose from. And we have new ones out every month. There are so many different kinds. I love it. We're just gonna scroll through, find one that we feel is intricate, but nothing too crazy that we can really put this vinyl to the test. I'm gonna use this Beach Days image right here. It's got some wording in it. The middles of these letters can be difficult sometimes when we're cutting with adhesive vinyl, and so this will be a really good way for us to test if it cuts really well. But we also have the sunglass image up here that's gonna let us see how it does on longer cuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and download that. It's gonna pop into a zip folder. Just double click to open that zip folder. And then we are gonna open it up right here. And then go back to Design Space. I'm going to upload my image. Go back to where that image was in our file folder. And I'm just gonna pull in the SVG. This is our cuttable image. Now, if you're like, I don't even know how to do this part yet. If you're brand new to Cricut, when you become a member, we have a 30 days to master your Cricut that goes over all of this in very, very good detail. So if you're like, I have a Cricut, but I'm just not sure how to use it, we got you. We have you the hookup inside of the membership, and we can teach you everything that you need to know. So I'm gonna add this to the canvas, and then As you can see, it comes in about 11 inches wide. That's a little too big for what we're wanting to do today. So we're gonna put these on a mug or a cup. That way we can do the dishwasher test. So you're not gonna wanna make it too big. I'm gonna put this at 3.5 inches. And we're gonna cut the same image out of each one of these vinyls. So what I'm gonna do next is go to Make It. And we're using adhesive vinyl, not heat transfer vinyl. So normally if you were using heat transfer vinyl, you would mirror your image. But with adhesive vinyl, we don't need to mirror. Select Continue. I'm gonna be cutting these all on the premium vinyl cut setting unless they've let me know that I need to cut it on a different setting. Now, sometimes when you order different vinyls, they'll say, you need to use this setting, or they have different pressures, like Techwrap, for example. I know they have a different pressure for their vinyls. So I'm gonna cut most of them on this premium vinyl removable mat. That way, they're all pretty equal across the board. So we're just gonna apply this to our standard grip mat. I'm gonna use a brayer for this. Sometimes the burnishing tool will kind of scratch up my vinyl, so I really like the brayer for this part. And then we're gonna run this through the Cricut. Okay, so before I remove it from the Cricut, I wanna make sure that it cut all the way through. So I'm just taking my weeding tool and going in different areas and making sure that it did weed, and it looks like it cut pretty good. So let's take it off and make sure. I'm just cutting away any excess vinyl because we can save this for later. Okay, and then I'm just gonna weed out everything that we do not need. And it may be hard for you all to see where it's actually cut, but I can see it really well. And this cut really good, you all. I'm actually very impressed. And this is a pretty decently small design, so I was a little bit worried, but it's always a good sign if you cut something this delicate and it cuts really well still. I'll say that this vinyl is a little bit thicker, and I actually really like that. It gives it kind of a better, higher quality element. So I'm pretty impressed so far. So in order to keep these organized, I'm gonna actually write that this is the HTV RONT on the back of here. Some of the vinyls actually have the names on the back of them, but some of them don't. So we're just gonna label this HTV RONT so we remember. And it's passed the weeding test. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is the Expressions vinyl. You can see they have it labeled on the back. It's series 51. I'm not sure what that is, but it's permanent vinyl. So we're gonna go ahead, line this up, run it through the Cricut. Okay. So I'm gonna test it before I remove it from the machine. And it looks like it cut. Okay, we're gonna remove the excess vinyl. This one cut really good, just like the HTV RONT did. So we are looking good so far, 2 out of 10 that we have tested. Oh, okay, so you can see the sunglass did not cut as well, and that's okay, that happens sometimes. You can see even some of these letters aren't wanting to stay down, but it's not terrible. We're just gonna have to be a little bit more careful as we're weeding it. Okay, so it worked. It's not as good as the HTV RONT, but we're gonna keep it and we'll see how it transfers. Next up is the Avery Dennison. Now this is not a vinyl that we love to use. I'll be honest, you all, I don't even know where to find this at the moment. Like, I don't know where you can find it, but I know that people have it on hand. You could probably, I'm gonna try to link it for you all if I can find it somewhere, but we've used it before and I didn't love it, but we're gonna review it today and see, maybe my mind will be changed. I'm just gonna cut it on these same settings and see how it does. Okay, let's see how it cut. Oh, it just popped right out. So it cut pretty good. My biggest concern here is that this vinyl is not gonna be super tacky and it's not gonna adhere very well. But let's weed the rest of it and see. Oh, thought it was gonna be pretty smooth, but it caught a little bit. Okay, so we did pretty dang good. This is the Avery Dennison. Next up, let's try the Cricut Permanent Glossy. Now, we do not use Cricut vinyl all that often. I know we were avid Cricut users, but it's just not our favorite. But we're gonna test it out today and see what we think. I'm just gonna cut a little piece off of this. This one is glossy, so I'm just gonna go into Design Space and change it to Premium Glossy. This one's like very glossy. The other ones weren't super glossy, but this one specifically says it, so I'm gonna change it just to be fair, and then we'll go ahead and cut it. Alrighty, are we here? Okay. Okay, it looks like it weeded. I'm gonna actually cut. There's a little bit of excess still around this, even though I kind of trimmed it down. I like the backing of this vinyl. It's not paper, and so it's less likely to stick to your mat. A lot of times, like that HTV Ront has a paper backer, and if the mat's a little bit stickier than usual, it will stick to the mat, and then it kind of creates, like you can see there's paper that is stuck to the mat over here, and I just don't love that. So the backer of this Cricut vinyl is really nice. That weeded like butter. Love that. Okay, I really love how this weeded. Can't wait to see how it transfers. Okay, the next is Styletech Craft in Sky Blue. This is one, we have some of this kind of around the studio, but we don't ever reach for it or anything like that, so I'm curious to see how this cuts. Looks like it cut. This one has the paper backing like I was just talking about, and they tend to stick to the mats, but that one did not do too shabby. These are all cutting so well, you all. I'm very impressed, and I'm super curious to see how they transfer. We're just having a good cutting day. Honestly, a new blade can help a ton when you're working with vinyl. If you find a vinyl that you use a lot, usually cuts, and for some reason it stops cutting, make sure to change your blades out. Sometimes it's just a simple fix like that will make everything so much easier. Okay. Next up is the Dollar Tree vinyl paper. This is like permanent vinyl. They call it vinyl paper. We have worked with this a little bit. I like to use this for practicing or test cuts, things like that. It's just not the best quality for, in terms of like durability and like endurance. Like it's not gonna last a very long time. So I like it for testing purposes, but we're gonna see how it cuts and transfers today. I'm just gonna cut off a little section of this. Okay, I have not touched anything. Where it started cutting, it started pulling up my letters. This is not a good sign. I obviously could not use this. It's very much damaged, but let's take it off the Cricut and look at it a little bit closer. So you can see here, the days got kind of messed up. I'm gonna cut this excess off and we will try to weed it and see what happens. This one may not be making the cut today. Just gonna try to lay that down where it kind of came up lay it down where it's supposed to go. And then I'm just gonna weed the majority, if it'll let me. Okay, it cut through all the way. Like it's not as if it didn't cut all the way through, but it's almost like it cut too much. You can see these pieces are popping off, probably because the adhesive is not that sticky on the back. So you can see now, like, obviously this is not gonna stay adhered to something for very long. That's why this is great for testing out cuts and things like that. It also kind of jacked up our cut right here between the Y and the S. We'll try to transfer this one just so I can show you all, but I probably would not do a whole lot with the Dollar Tree vinyl. It's just not great. So I'm trying to pull this off of the mat. It has cut all the way through the backer, and a lot of that's due to the vinyl just being super thin. So this one actually is probably not gonna make the cut, you all. Oh no. This one's gonna be a hard pass for us. Okie dokie, so Dollar Tree, no bueno. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's work with the Orac 651. Now this is a one that everyone loves and is tried and true. So we're gonna see how it does today. Okay, it looks like it cut all the way through. All right, we're gonna weed the majority first. And you can weed the majority first, or you can weed the middles out first. That's always gonna be just a personal preference. And I go back and forth, honestly. This one's weeding really, really well. And I don't know how true it is, but typically if the vinyls are a little bit thicker, they're a little bit better quality. And this one is relatively thick. It's not super thick, but it just feels like a good high quality vinyl. Okay. So we have made it through almost all of them. We still have a new brand. This is the Vinyl Frog brand. We've got the Starcraft and the Techwrap. So Starcraft is one we use all the time. I'm like 99.9% sure it's gonna cut and weed really good. We're gonna test out this Vinyl Frog, and then I'm gonna show you all the Techwrap cut settings that they require you to use. It's a little bit different, but the vinyl is so good, it's honestly worth it, especially if you're using it over and over again. So let's go ahead and jump into those. Okay, so this is the Vinyl Frog brand. We found this on Amazon. Someone had recommended it to us, but we'd never tried it before. Right when I open it, you can see it says, please peel off before cutting. So I'm thinking it's got a film on it. Now the Techwrap also has a film on it when you purchase it. So make sure if you run into vinyl and you're like, why is it cutting so weird? Sometimes they have a protective film on them that you have to remove prior to cutting it with your Cricut. Take off all these labels. Y'all, just right away, this is thick. This feels like smart vinyl. It is very thick. There's nothing on the back to signify the brand or anything. I'm just gonna cut a piece off for us to use. We wanna make sure to remove that protective coating. You all can see here. It's got that clear protective coating. You will be so frustrated if you try to cut something that has that coating on it. Almost all of the Techwrap has it, so we always have to make sure, but it's good to know that the Vinyl Frog also has it. So if I ever repurchase, I can know that up front. And luckily, they put a label on it that says, please remove before cutting. Techwrap does not do that. So we had to learn the hard way. This is a very glossy vinyl, so I am gonna cut it on premium glossy. Okay, so this vinyl feels very similar to Techwrap. I'm wondering if it's gonna actually cut all the way through. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it did. Ooh. Okay. Let's do the real test. Okay, that cut really good. I love the shine of this. It's like high gloss vinyl. I really, really like it. So I'm hoping it transfers really good too. And it's not a paper backer, which I appreciate. It's more of that like plasticky backer, so love that. Next up is our Starcraft. This is the one that we probably use the most here at Maker's Gonna Learn. I'm just going to braid this on, and we're gonna cut it under the premium vinyl removable mat cut setting. Okay, weeded great. Let's cut it. Let's weed it off of the mat. Okay, I knew that was gonna weed good. This is our favorite. They also have just so many colors. We purchased our Starcraft from 143 Vinyl's website. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna link all of these different vinyls below for you all as long as I can find them. But this is just our favorite. It just works so good every time. Okay, this is number 10. This is our Techwrap, and I saved it for the end because I knew that the cut settings were different. So I'm gonna show you all how to manually go in there and adjust these in Design Space. But the reason I know that the cut settings are different are because whenever you receive this vinyl, it'll actually send you this little piece of paper, and it looks like something, I don't need it. But actually, it's gonna tell you how much pressure you need to cut your vinyl at. So it tells me right here, I'm using the Explore 3 series. You can see there's like the Explore Air 2, and it says with a pressure of 220. If you're using the Maker, it would be like 180 to 185 if you have the holographic. So make sure that you're checking these cut settings before you go to cut. Typically, we will cut with our Explore and our Maker. If it's a regular adhesive vinyl for Techwrap, we cut it at 185, and that seems to do the job for us. So let's go into Design Space, and I'm gonna show you how I get this. So go to Browse on Materials, and down here at the bottom, you can see it says Material Settings. Now, right here, we have all of the pressures. So you could even look at the premium vinyl pressure, and you can see just that removable mat is only at 121, and we're gonna need it to be 185 to cut through this vinyl. So what I like to do is add new material, change the name. So we're just gonna name it Techwrap Vinyl. Hit save, and this is gonna allow us to adjust our pressure. So I'm just gonna adjust it to 185, and we don't need extra passes or anything like that. So just hit save. Done, and then you can go back and browse and find your cut setting right here. Hit done, and then we're going to go ahead and cut it with the machine. Okay, this is one you're going to want to definitely test before you remove it from the paper. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't check to see if there was a clear piece on top of it, and I don't think there is on this one. It's very possible we already removed it, because sometimes we'll order the Techwrap in bulk and then just go ahead and remove all those sheets so that we don't accidentally forget. But it looks like it cut all the way through. So let's take it off of the Cricut and see. I'm going to take out the bulk of it. Ooh, looks like that A did not cut all the way through, but that's okay. Just a little snag. Don't get too confident when you're weeding, or you may end up pulling up some letters. Okay, that one weeded really good as well. We've had a lot of good luck today, you all. I'm actually very surprised. This one has a very distinct backing on it, very similar to the Cricut adhesive vinyl, which I really love. So let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to the transfer test. So I have all of my vinyl cut. I've got each of them here. We are not going to be doing the Dollar Tree one because the cut was a fail. So this is like the second rite of passage before we decide which ones that we love and which ones we're going to leave. So I have grabbed the Caesar transfer tape. This transfer tape is just what I use typically. Now, if you have another transfer tape that you prefer, like a masking transfer tape or another brand, that's totally fine. This is just a medium tack transfer, so I feel like it's going to cover most of the bases for what we're using today. And then I have an assortment of glass blanks. So I didn't have 9 different of the same blanks, but I thought they're all glass, so they're going to transfer pretty much the same because it's the same type of surface. So we're going to be applying these decals using this transfer tape onto these blanks. So I'm going to go ahead and get the transfer onto all of our decals. Now the Techwrap, just in my experience, transfers better with the Techwrap brand transfer tape, and I do have some of this. Typically when you buy Techwrap, you're gonna get a little bit of it with your vinyl. So I always try to use the Techwrap transfer whenever I am using the vinyl because it's just gonna work a lot better. Okay, I've got all of my transfers put on. Now we're just gonna need to actually apply these to our blanks. So we'll go ahead and get started. These little mugs I love so much. These are from Walmart last year. We just randomly found them and bought a bunch of them because they're so cute. I love to use them for blanks. I'm trying to figure out a best way to actually line these up. I think we're just gonna have to be a little bit more careful. So the first one we're doing is the HTV Ront. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the backing. Let me burnish these really well before I actually apply them to the blank. So I'm gonna burnish them on the back and the front really good. And then we're gonna remove the backing. For some reason, the vinyl is not wanting to stick to the transfer, and that can be an issue sometimes. You can see we just burnished it really well, so we shouldn't be having many issues. Sometimes it's the vinyl's fault, sometimes it's the transfer tape's fault. It's hard to know, honestly. I'm just gonna use this cup to hold the handle here. And then we're just going to apply this. I like to go in with my finger first, and then I can go in with my burnishing tool. Okay, and then you can remove your transfer. That actually went on really good. Now that did not stick to the transfer tape really well, but it could be the transfer tape's fault. We'll find out, I guess, because we've used Caesar for all of these, but normally it works really well. So that's cute. I love these colors together. 10 out of 10. Okay, I've got another of these glass mugs right here, and I have cleaned these with alcohol already. This is the Expressions vinyl, so I've never actually used this vinyl before, so this is my very first impression of it. It came off very well with this transfer, which is a good sign. Okay, and we're just gonna remove the transfer. I am very impressed with that vinyl. That was really good. It applied really well. I'm hoping with the wash test, it holds up just as good. Okay, I've got this beer stein here. This is just a Dollar Tree beer stein. Let me see if I can hold it up. No, that's okay. We can just kind of wing this one. So this is the Avery Dennison brand. We do not use this a ton. If this applies well, I'm gonna be very surprised if it washes well, because I just don't feel like it's gonna stay that good, but I could be wrong. wrong. I could be eating my words. Just gonna apply it on here. And then burnish it down really well. It came off great with that transfer tape, so that's good. Cute. So this is just a little beer can glass that we had. This is the Cricut brand vinyl. I'm very excited to see how this one does. I love this color of vinyl. It's so pretty. It was not too bad. We're doing good, everybody. Okay, we've got the Styletech Craft. Beautiful. That went on really, really nice. Okay, I've got 4 left. I'm just gonna test these on the back side of some that we've already put on, just for the sake of like doing the wash test and all of that. This is the Orac 651. It kind of curled up when I was applying the transfer, so I'm hoping it applies decently. Okay, that went on really well. Love it. I'm gonna do the black. This is our black vinyl frog. I'm gonna put this on, and it looks like I may need to burnish it a little bit better before I peel it off. This is a thicker vinyl, and it's kind of similar to Techwrap, so I'm wondering how well this Caesar's gonna do holding on to it. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Y'all, we are having lots of wins today. I'm just very impressed. I thought we were gonna have a lot like totally just not working. So I'm gonna say the wash test is gonna be like the really, really true foolproof test to see if it's gonna work. Okay, I've got this beer can glass. This is the Starcraft brand we love. This one has probably had the least bubbles on here out of all of them, which I really appreciate because it looks so much better when it doesn't have bubbles in the vinyl. And then we have our Techwrap one. I'm gonna remove the backing. So you can see this transfer is leaving a film on the vinyl. That is not good. This is Techwrap transfer on Techwrap vinyl. I'm sure I could get it off with some alcohol, but I don't want to have to do that, you know? So you can see there is like residue from the transfer. I'm just taking an alcohol on a paper towel and trying to get that off of there, but I do not love that. And it doesn't like to transfer if I use another type of transfer tape, so that's no fun. We're gonna wash it though and see how it does with the wash test. So far, we've had a lot of luck with all of these different adhesive vinyls. I'm actually very impressed. I'm gonna be super surprised to see how these do in the dishwasher. If you've been around for any amount of time, you know that if we hand make an item, we always say hand wash. So I don't love that we're putting them in the dishwasher, but I wanna really see which ones are gonna tell the test of time. So we've got lots of different tests here. They're all on glass. I'm feeling pretty good about most of these. We're gonna find out. The only one that I'm super skeptical of is this Avery Dennison, just because, I don't know, it just feels thinner and I don't know if it's gonna stay. I think that the Techwrap will stay on, but I don't like that transfer left a residue on the vinyl. But honestly, I have a lot of faith in these, so I'm hoping they stay on. You know, it gets super hot in the dishwasher, So that kind of runs the risk of peeling that vinyl off. But let's go ahead and pop these in, and then we will come back and see how they did. Okay, they are out of the dishwasher, and y'all, I am impressed. So the one that I thought would mess up did mess up. The Avery Dennison got all warped and crazy. So you can see here, the vinyl curled up really bad. I have not touched this other than I just dabbed it to dry it off. You can see this did it completely on its own. All of this is kind of coming up. So Avery Dennison is a no in the dishwasher, at least. It's probably good for crafting, but do not recommend putting it in the dishwasher. And then you can see on this side, we have the vinyl frog. Now there are some bubbles in this that I don't remember there being that many bubbles beforehand, but it still stayed on really well. So 10 out of 10, love that. And then on this side, we've got the HTV Runt. There's a couple little water splotches still. I just pulled these out of the dishwasher, y'all. But these both stayed really, really well. Highly impressed. HTV Runt is probably our most requested vinyl. So if you all have been looking into getting it, definitely would recommend. Cut well, weeded well, and it passed the dishwasher test. So 10 out of 10. This is the Orac 651 that is tried and true for everybody, and it withstood the dishwasher test as well. Okay, next up we've got Expressions vinyl. This is a brand new vinyl to us. I really, really love it, and I'm kind of excited that we've been testing out these brands because now I'm gonna have more color options and variety whenever I go to purchase new vinyls. Love this color. It also cut, weeded, and stayed on really well through the dishwasher. Okay, we've got our Starcraft. Looks amazing, looks the best out of all of them. I know we use them all the time, but they really are our favorite. And look, like this is flawless. It still is on here really well, and it just looks so good. It looks significantly better than the other ones in my opinion. And then on the back side, we've got the Cricut vinyl. It's a little bubbly, and I didn't recognize that before, but it still stayed on really good. So we love that. The Styletech Craft has some bubbles in it, but it doesn't look awful. It stayed on great. And then the Techwrap, obviously we had issues with the transfer tape sticking to our vinyl. That's still on there, and I did put dishwashing soap in the dishwasher, and I was thinking that maybe it would come off. I tried to get it off with alcohol. That didn't work either. So don't love the Techwrap transfer, but the vinyl stayed on really well, and it looks pretty nice. Okay, I would love to hear your all's thoughts on all of these vinyls. If you've tried these and you've had better results, maybe you tried the Avery Dennison and it's worked better for you. Maybe you've tried the Techwrap and you found a perfect way to transfer it without getting any of that adhesive on the vinyl. Let us know in the comments which one was your favorite and which one that you're gonna try for yourself now. I'm really, really interested in the Expressions vinyl as well as the Vinyl Frog. So I'm probably gonna be ordering more of that. And as always, we will link all of these below for you all if you're interested in purchasing them for all of your crafty needs. If you're new here and you liked what you saw today, make sure to hit the subscribe button below, hit the little bell so that every time that we post, you're notified of new videos. And if you're really interested in becoming a part of our community, we've dropped a link below for you all. We would love to see you over in our crafty community. We have private masterclasses, exclusive content, cut files, fonts, and so much more to give you all for inspiration, motivation, and education with your die cutting machine. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you all learned something new and you are excited to try some new vinyls. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.